we know it isn't going to last very long. It's awfully nice to feel the comfort of not wearing a heavy coat outside and worrying about your mittens.
Or really any coat. And by the way, Pat, I hate to do this to people, like, you've got a few hours to get outside. Why are you watching us? I mean, I know our management isn't going to like this.
They might start asking why we're here, and we don't want to go there.
Right. Well, we're forced to be. I'm just saying this is like the peak time to be outside if you get a chance. It's 66 right now in Portland and 66 in Sanford. And so, we talked a little bit about if you're going to spend a whole day, a long day at work, you need a jacket for the back end. But right now, you certainly don't. But it won't last that long because that cold front is already driving through western Maine and into New Hampshire. And once that comes in, winds are going to shift out of the northwest, and it's going to get much colder really, really fast, and it'll be a little breezy as well. So this is, again, kind of the peak of this warmth. Smashing records. Our record high in Portland for today was 61. 66 already. We still got a little bit of time. Maybe we get to 67 or something if we get lucky. And then here's where we're going tonight, down into the teens. 16 in Portland, 14 in Wiscasset. So if you do a little quick math there, you're talking about 50-degree swing in Portland, and most of these areas will be about 50 degrees because it's not quite as warm in the mountains, but they'll get down into the single digits. Obviously, anything that melted is going to refreeze hard tonight. That hasn't been an issue along the coast as we've already gotten rid of all of our snow, but farther inland where they still have snow, it will melt and then refreeze. So here comes that front. This is 2 o'clock. It's still pretty mild, but watch it switch, the wind switch, and bam, down into the 30s by pretty early this evening, and by 10 o'clock tonight we'll be into the 20s and teens, and it will keep falling overnight to get down to those low temperatures we talked about, which will be single digits and between 15 and 20 degrees along the coastline. Tomorrow's actually a fine day if you're not offended by the change in temperatures because it'll be nice and sunny, but you're only getting to the 20s along the coast and teens into the mountains. All right, here's our next storm system on Friday. This is the next thing of interest, and it looks like it will start Friday morning. I think this model is maybe just a tiny bit fast with it. We'll keep an eye on the timing, but I would imagine that we will see snow breaking out during the morning on Friday. Whether or not it's 3, 4 in the morning like that, I think it might be closer to kind of when the sun is rising. And the snow starts filling in. Now this storm, because it's going to be to our south, will be heaviest over southern Maine, and it will be lightest over central and northern Maine. So we'll see the peak of this come in through the middle of the day on Friday. Notice temperatures are in the 20s and teens, so this is squarely snow and probably fairly high ratio snow, meaning fluffy stuff. Snowing through the early afternoon with a pretty good clip, and then it starts to break up late afternoon into the evening, and then it's out of here by Friday night. It's pretty progressive for a snowmaker for us. So I didn't really make any major changes here. I did slightly, if you're paying really, really strong attention, I slightly slid all these down a tiny bit because I do think that the models have ticked just a tiny bit south with it. So we'll keep an eye on that trend, but I still think 6 to 12 inches is a good place to be here over southern Maine. Do I think we'll see a ton of 12s? Probably not, but we'll see quite a few people in that range, and then 3 to 6, and right towards Bangor is going to be that cutoff line between a real substantial storm and not a big deal. No more 60s going forward for the next week or so. It's not Arctic, but it gets colder for sure, and the weekend is on the cooler than average side. So what can you do? Can't keep it that long. Cold, blustery on Monday, partly cloudy on Tuesday, and we should pop back to around 40, it looks like, on Wednesday. But overall, there won't be as many wild swings as what we've seen through this week. This week was hard to beat in that regard, Pat, just going up, down, all over the place. We'll finish it with some snow.
That temperature graph you showed is kind of like driving up an icy hill, and you get a little ways, then you slide back, and
right.
You get a little more. And so eventually you're going to get there, but it can take a while.
This is just the process of spring, as we talked about. This is now our third fake spring, I think.
That's right. It's been a busy month for that. Thanks, Keith.